Hey guys, this is Nick and welcome back to another video. In today's video, as we're near to Christmas, I decided to put a video here for you that is about Christmas scary stories. So let's go. 15 terrifying Christmas stories that will put you in true holiday spirit this year, I hope. Most people would assume that October is meant to be scariest time of the year, or at least the one where we saturate stores with spook stuff and scram the theaters full of gory slashers December on. Okay, let's go. Most people would assume that October is meant to be scariest time of the year, or at least the one where we... Okay, I told all of this. Allow me to ruin the holiday spirit for just a moment. Being the darkest and coldest month of the year, December has traditionally been a time of horror stories. The 19th century is full of Christmas-themed horrors, especially ghost stories, Charles Dickens, anyone else. And long before that, ancient pagan religions and rituals have some truly terrifying figures who do a lot worse than stuff some cool in your stocking for neglecting your chores. Okay, the first story is called Perchta. The Celtic goddess is a hardcore Santa Claus, and not in the fun way. She came up in the Alpine regions around the Middle Ages as a sort of traditions police. She made sure cultural taboos didn't get tabooed during the 12 days of Christmas, and especially on the 12th night, because she procrastinates like college students and crams everything in at the last minute. She would roam the frozen countryside and sneak into people's homes. If the children and servants of a house had behaved and worked hard all year, she might give them a small silver coin, hiding it in a shoe or pail. But if they were on the naughty list, Perchta would slit their belts open, remove all of their guts, and stuff the body with straw and pebbles. To get this treatment, you don't have to do much. Girls who hadn't spun all of their flax or wool that you wouldn't become Christmas straw dolls, or even if someone ate something on their day of feast other than the traditional food of fish and gruel, so you know everyone was up for crabs. Oh my god, that is terrifying. Okay, the next one is Santa Claus Homicide Detective. When he wasn't committing crimes such as breaking and entering, the French version of Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, was out solving crimes. His specialty was murder, and if he was in a particularly good mood, he'd bring them back to life in a disappointingly non-zombie-like fiction. One such story begins with 3 children who go lost in the woods, because you know, terrible things like this happen when children venture off into the woods. They stumble upon a butcher's house and ask for help. He invites them inside, fattens them up, and sends them to bed. Then he gets the worst host of the year award by chopping them up into little pieces and sticking them in a barrel of salt for petites salés, a salty pork dish. Oh my god. 7 years later, St. Nicholas decided to go for a walk in the middle of nowhere and also knocks on some butcher's door. When he's inside, he asks for petites salés. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correct, but I'm sorry if I'm not. The butcher gets him something fresh. St. Nicholas gives him a look and says, "Why don't you give me the meat you prepped 7 years ago? You homicidal maniac." Okay, I made that last part up. He was probably a lot classier about it. Then he sticks his fingers in the right barrel and the 3 kids magically spring back to life. In some versions of the story, the butcher becomes St. Nicholas's assistant, Pierre Foutard. I guess murdered 3 kids for meat is good on a resume. Oh my god. The next one is called the Nutcracker. I've heard such a thing. We've all heard of the story. Some of those more cultured than myself might have gone out and seen the ballet. Cute as the dance may be, the story is rather horrifying. It starts with a young girl named Marie. She receives a nutcracker for Christmas, which her brother breaks trying to crack a particularly large nut. She patches the doll up with some ribbon from her dress until her clockmaker godfather can properly fix it up. That night, while everyone sleeps, Mary sneaks back downstairs to be with the Nutcracker. But as the clock strikes midnight, things go from mildly creep doll obsession to full-blown horror movie. Sorry. This thing was in the Barbie movie, the Nutcracker. I just remembered when I was watching it when I was six. And I remember it was a kind of romance movie, not a horror movie. Let's see. Rats pile into the house from seemingly nowhere. Yes, it was exactly like this. Led by the seven-headed Mouse King. Let me repeat that. 7 heads. What? No, that wasn't in the movie. Mary finds herself magically shrunk to a mouse's size, but lucky for her, all the other dolls, many of them toy soldiers, spring to life and start battling the rats. They're led by none other than the Nutcracker. It doesn't go too well for the dolls until Mary takes off her slipper and chucks it at the Mouse King, distracting him long enough for the Nutcracker to kill him. Mary passes out, and when she wakes up, normal-sized the room is a mess, and there are even tiny crowns gathered around her. Years later, Mary professes her love for the Nutcracker, and that night finds herself doll-sized again. This time it's permanent, and she spends the rest of her days living with the Nutcracker. Yeah, it was something like that, but not 7-headed mouse. It wasn't like that. But the story was something like this. Christmas tree decorations. It's for 2012. What's Christmas without a little murder? Oh my god. A girl named Juliet is home alone as she lives with her single mother, who's a nurse taking the night shift. Juliet just finished decorating the Christmas tree when there's a scratching at the door to their apartment. When she looks through the peephole, she sees a man dressed in a dirty Santa Claus suit. "It's Santa Claus," she says. Juliet may be only 11 years old, but she's not an idiot. She refuses to open the door and threatens to call the police when he doesn't leave. His solution to his little dilemma, an axe. Julia hides in the closet while he busts down the door. When he finds her, she manages to stab him in the eye with the coat hanger, and it all goes downhill from there. Juliet's mom finally manages to come home around midnight. She finds the door busted open and the Christmas tree decorated with bits of Juliet. What? I thought Juliet won the battle. Ugh. The next one is called Greek goblins. Around southern Europe, there's the legend of the Karankankolos goblins. These little monsters live underground throughout the year and only come up during the 12 days of Christmas, although some say they're only up for the first 10 days of Zemhuri, the death full cold, as late December is freaking freezing. Most say that they're more annoying than harmful, pulling pranks, causing mischief, and demanding piggyback rides from humans. But in Turkey, it's a different story. They'll hang out on the streets at night and ask seemingly ordinary questions to passerbys. If you don't answer correctly, the goblin kills you. The correct answer is Kara, Turkish for black. Another favorite hobby of Karankonkolos is calling out to people while imitating the voice of their loved ones, luring them out into the cold in the hopes that they'll freeze to death. Oh my god. The next one is called Christmas werewolves. The Precolosi are Romanian werewolves of ancient lore, and they love Christmas. They're like dogs who adore winter because they got to roll around in the snow. When they're not killing people, that is. But the Precolosi werewolves are unique in that they don't reproduce by beating their victims. They're the hairy, reanimated corpse of evil, men who've committed violent crimes and who just can't seem to get enough of that bloodletting. And if that's not bad enough, they won't stay dead. After Precolosi dies, it comes back again, this time as a vampire. Third time's a charm and all that. Werewolf activity is said to increase during the Christmas season. Makes sense. Seeing as wolves are social animals, they gotta check in on grandma On grandma visiting the in-laws, count up how many humans they killed this year and set the new goal for the next year. You know, all that jazz. Okay, the next one is the Christmas lads of Iceland. These days, the Christmas lads or Yule lads are the Icelandic version of Santa Claus, doing mostly good. But back in the day, they had a bit of a record. These boys are said to be the sons of two mountain trolls, and they would terrorize children during the Yule season if they had misbehaved. Each of their names described what they do. I'm providing the English translations because my Icelandic is horrible. Okay. Sheepcoat harasses sheep. Gullygawk hides in gullies to sneak into the crouched and steal milk. Stubby, an unfortunate name for the shortest brother, steals pans to eat the leftover crust spoon liquor. That's obvious and disgusting. Pot Scrabber steals leftovers from Pot's bowl liquor. Again, obvious. Yes, again obvious. Door Slammer scares the crap out of everyone in the middle of the night with his little hobby. Scar Gobblers have Icelandic dairy products. Doorway Sniffer uses his giant nose to sniff out more food. Meat Hook uses a hook to steal meat. And then there's a sausage super, window peeper, and candle stealer. But what makes the lads scary in their companion, the Yule Cat? This beast, it's children who didn't receive new clothes for Christmas because that's somehow the kids' fault? Huh? The next one is Krampus. You can't have a spooky Christmas list without Krampus. This guy is Saint Nick's evil twin, with horns, hooves, and mushrooms. Tang? Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Most people think this guy lives in Germany, but he's also in Australia, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovenia, and northern Italy. While St. Nicholas focuses only on the good children, Krampus dedicates his attention to the less goody two-shoed. Tamer versions of Krampus have him doing nothing more than scaring kids and giving them lumps of coal, while their friends get candy from Santa Nicholas. I don't know why it said that, but Santa Claus. Sometimes he whips them into shape with a birch. The more hardcore version has him with a sack or basket to kidnap children. Depending on who's telling the story, Krampus either eats them, drowns them, or sends them straight to hell. Those Europeans do not mess around. Oh my god, yeah, true. The Wild Hunt. When the winter winds blow and the Yule fires are lit, it is the best to stay indoors, safely shut away from the dark paths and the wild heats. Those who wander out by themselves during the Yule nights may hear a sudden rustling through the tops of the trees. A rustling that might be the wind. Through the rest of the wood is still. But then the barking of dogs fills the air and the host of wild souls sweeps down. Fire flashing from the eyes of the black hounds and the hooves of the black horses. This one takes multiple forms all across Europe. Vikings thought it was led by Odin. Southern Europeans believed it was a crazy witch lady who babysat dead kids. That is interesting. Early Christian lore said it was a host of dead sinners and evildoers taking a vacation from hell. But everyone agreed the Wild Hunt was not for mortals. To see it in person was very bad. It was very bad. Like someone you love is dying this year, or you're failing all of your finals type of bad. Oh, true. The next one is Frog God. I don't know what it is, but I will call it Frog God. I'm sorry. Some believe that Frog God was one of the leaders of the Wild Hunt. She was only ever seen during the 12 days of Christmas. Others pitched her as a walking public service announcement. After all, you really shouldn't leave the front door open. Not only is it a security risk, but it's really bad for the energy bill, and in winter, forget it. If while she wandered the streets of German-speaking Europe, Frog God found a house with the door open, she would send in a dog. She was a dog version of the crazy cat lady. She had a whole pack of them, all of them undead. The dog would be impossible to send away as it whined and begged for food. If the homeowners were jerks and decided to kill the dog, the body would turn to stone and the phantom would come back. It brought bad luck for the rest of the year. Wow. Oh, the photo is terrifying. The Grither. Based on the episode Seasons of Belief from Tales from the Dark Side. The Grither is a monster who lives in the North Pole, probably just down the street from Santa Claus. He's known for his basketball-sized hands and arms as big as bow constructors. But instead of using them to enter weightlifting contests, a guy built like that, he could easily make it to the Olympics. He uses them to reach into people's houses and squeeze their heads until they pop like Prince Oberyn's from Game of Thrones. He was created by the fear, grief, and anger of the crew of a ship that got lost in the Arctic before they all died. Great. And I hope you're not rounding this out loud. The Greater hates the sound of his own names. His victims are the ones who say it Allah. Greater, Greater. Okay, he's coming and he's going to pop my head out. The Christmas Tree and the Wedding by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This one was written in the 1848 in Russia. It's not so much scary as it is creepy and slimy because while it's fiction, you could bet something like this happened thousands of times throughout history. It takes place at a Christmas party where the narrator is getting bored of watching the children play with their new toys. One of them is the host's daughter, an 11-year-old who already has a very handsome dowry. Remember, this was a time where the girl's parents occasionally dragged men to marry their daughters. Oh yeah. She's playing with a boy around her age, the governed son, the lowest on the social scale. Comes a man at least twice her age who wants that dowry. Remember, she's 11, and he starts flirting with her and kissing her on the forehead and overall just being a creep. Oh my god. But she prefers to hang out with the other kids. The man chases the kid out of the room before convincing the girl's parents to invite him over again. Fast forward 5 years ago. 5 years, sorry. Guess who's getting married? Oh my god. The Kid Bag by Algernon Blackwood. A defense attorney, Secretary Johnson, decides to head to the Alps for the holidays. He asks his boss to borrow a kit bag for the trip, and the boss promises to have it sent to him that night. Earlier that night, the attorney had gotten a vicious murderer, a not guilty verdict by sitting insanity. Nobody's really happy with the verdict, not even the attorney. Everyone believes he deserves to be hung, but whatever. It's not like it'll come back to bite them in the butt or anything. When Johnson gets home that night, the kit bag is waiting for him, and he starts packing up, but soon he starts hearing footsteps in the hall. The kit bag starts moving around whenever he leaves the room, and then, of course, Johnson sees the murderer and passes out. When he wakes up early in the morning, someone from his boss's office comes back with another kit bag, explaining that there was a mix-up. Johnson has the bag from the murder case, the one that the killer used to hold his victim's body parts. And the killer, why? He committed suicide last night. Why do you ask? Oh my god. Christmas is Coming by Gino Algrandi, published in Apex magazine in 2015. This next one is just 250 words of pure creepiness. Huh. Each year I watch you sleep. I like that you're still and breathing and quiet, and it's your game to keep you that way. Sometimes I'll move closer, carefully, running a finger across your sleeve, touching my tongue to your hair, letting my bird brush your forehead. If I can, if I think you won't wake, I'll open a drawer. I'll press a thumb into the contents and smile that you will wear my touch. Unknowing on your bare skin. Maybe I'll open a closet. Maybe I'll move something on the dresser, just a little. Maybe you'll notice I like that you might not. The cookies I'll eat, because why not? I'll think about you, slumbering in the other room, and lick the crumbs from my fingers. I'll hold the plate on my lap, let it rest there. Eventually I'll feel my stocking. Each gift I'll handle carefully, tenderly before slipping it inside. I'll picture you in the morning finding what I've left and something I'll have to pause and catch my breath. I'll think about this time last year and the year before. Each year is better than the last. Before I leave, I'll take a last look at you. I might whisper to you. I might lean close to your face and breathe hot into your ear. Merry Christmas. See you next year. Oh, oh, oh. That was creepy. The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Published in 1898, the story doesn't take place during the holidays, but it was a popular one told during Yuletide. Ironically, this book was published in October, the new scary month. It's told from the point of view of an unnamed governess freshly hired to look after two kids, Miles and Flora, while their uncle is away. She barely sets foot on the property before she starts seeing ghosts. Most people would keep job searching, but not this woman. She has stubbornness issues. She asks the maid, Mrs. Gross, about the ghosts. Mrs. Gross tells her they're former employees, Peter Quaint and Miss Jessel. Once the ghosts start getting in the house, the governess decides it's time to call for help. But before she can send a letter to her boss, it gets stolen. The governess suspects that the kids can see the ghosts too, but they don't talk about it, not until Flora mysteriously falls ill. Mrs. Gross rushes her off to state to see a doctor, leaving the governess alone with Miles. Miles was the one who stole the letter. He summons the ghost of Peter Quaint, and when he governs look out the window to see him, she instantly dies of fright. Nice stories. Really, really nice. Okay, guys, I hope this video has spooked you so much for this Christmas that is coming. If it has, click the like button and subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends to spook them too. I'll see you in my next videos. Bye!